Hello crafters, I'm Jan B and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Today I'm going to show you how I made this fancy fold card. It's called a side step or side stepper, and it has three little side steps at the here, and it's got one big one on that side. I'm going to change my colour scheme as I do, but I'm going to keep the design the same, and I will give you the cardstock that you need for the actual frame and all the top layers, but I'm not going to give you the cardstock pieces and the designer series paper for all these layers and for the stamping of the images. But I will put all of those in the box below. Because there's so many, it would take a good 10 minutes to get through all of them and to give you all the centimetre sizes too. And as far as centimetres is concerned, as you know, I'm not very au fait with centimetres, so please, before you start, check on maybe a scrap of paper that this actual frame works with the score lines that I've given you. I would hate you to make a start on proper cardstock and then find that I'm 0.1 of a centimetre out or something. So if you could do that, I would appreciate it. So the cardstock that I'm going to be using, the colour I'm using is Flirty Flamingo, and the designer series paper is Pick a Pattern. So to start off with, what you're going to need is a piece of Flirty Flamingo, which measures 8 1/4 inches by 5 3/4 inches, which is 21 by 14.6 centimetres. There are no score lines on here at all. There are lots of videos on YouTube which show you what sizes that you need for US if you're using letter size rather than our A4 size. So this is aimed at A4. Right, and the cardstock you're going to need a piece of Whisper White, which measures 3 1/8 inches by 2 5/8 inches, which is 7.9 by 6.7 centimetres. You'll need another piece of Whisper White, which measures 5 5/8 inches by 7/8 of an inch, which is 14.9 by 2.2 centimetres. A piece of Whisper White, which measures 1 1/4 inches by 2 7/8 inches, which is 3.2 by 7.3 centimetres. A piece of Whisper White, which measures 1 5/8 inches by 2 7/8 inches, which is 4.1 by 7.3 centimetres. The designer series paper is 3 inches by 2 1/2 inches, which is 7.6 by 6.3 centimetres. A piece that is 5 1/2 inches by 3/4 inches, which is 14 by 1.9 centimetres. A piece that measures 1 1/8 inches by 2 3/4 inches, which is 2.9 by 7 centimetres, and one piece that's 1 1/2 inches by 2 3/4 inches, which is 3.8 by 7 centimetres. Now what I'm going to do, my colour scheme is where I've got the pink, that is going to be the background around here, but for where I've got this lemon lime twist pattern, I'm going to be using that design. Okay, when you're deciding on which patterns you're going to be using, if you bear in mind that there will be places where this one actually goes up against here, okay, like that going on to there. So just make sure that they look okay, because then on top of that you'll be having a piece of white, whether it's something like that or an image that you've stamped. So you just need to make sure that the two work together well. Right, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to adhere these pieces together. There really are quite a lot of pieces of cardstock here, and I think I know which way I'm working. You will see that I've made myself quite a few notes so that I don't get myself too confused. And I've also got right by the side of me here more cardstock, the white and the Flirty Flamingo and the DSP, just in case I've made a mistake or cut something wrong. I really don't think I have, but this is going to be quite a substantial video, so I don't want to waste time unnecessarily. Sounds like my silicone mat could do with a bit of a clean. You know you're in trouble when your silicone mat, which is meant to stop things from sticking, is actually, your paper is actually sticking to it, which is what mine's doing. And I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do about ribbon for this one. The only real colour that I have that will go with it is our shimmer black, but I'm not sure that I actually want to use a black ribbon. But I'll have a better idea about that once we get to that stage. There we go. So that's those four. Now the next bits I'm going to do is the stamping of the designs. Now I have done some of these ahead of time. So that's my roses and I've painted them. So I'm going to stamp the small flowers so that I can show you how I do my little bit of shading on there. I've already done two birds. One of them I've painted, the other I haven't, so I could show you that one. That's a sentiment which I'm going to show you, and that's just a die cut shape. And all of these pieces are die cuts as well. As you can see, I've labelled all my pieces with what dies they need. So first of all, I'm going to stamp this flower, which is this one here. The stamp set that I'm using for the flowers, the birds and this flower is from the Petal Palettes stamp set. This comes as a bundle with the dies, which I'll show you in a minute because I'll be die cutting these. And this I think is my favourite bundle out of the Spring Summer catalogue. Right, so I'm going to use basic black archival ink. There we go, that's that. And what I'm going to do is just give that a few minutes to dry while I'm doing the sentiment, which is going to be this one. And my sentiment is actually from Picture Perfect Birthday. I'm going to be using this. That there and that there are two sentiments that I have used so many times. Happiest of birthdays to you, and to date we celebrate wonderful, brilliant, fabulous you. I mean, how lovely is that? Now my marker pens I'm using are Flirty Flamingo and Emerald Envy, which are two colours that will be retiring on the 31st of May, along with Peekaboo Peach, Dapper Denim and Sweet Sugar Plum, because they're 5 in colours. So if you want anything in those 5 colours, do stock up on them sooner rather than later. we will eventually get to a stage where Stampin' Up will say, from now on it'll be while stocks last. We're not there yet, but it's much better for you to avoid the rush. Right, now all I'm doing is I'm painting everything on this stamp apart from the word you, and that I'm going to be doing in Emerald Envy. As you can see, I've used this one so many times that it holds the colour quite well. Sometimes with new stamps it pays to go over it 2 or 3 times, like let that dry, go and do the next bit and then come back and do it again. But as I say, this has been done so many times, it's lovely. There we go, that should be fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to huff on this. Excuse me, I really don't like doing this at all. Oops, that moved. Oh, that's okay, look at that. That's lovely, I'm pleased with that. Alright, so that's ready for die cutting, that can go on there. That's ready for die cutting. So is that. Let's do this one first, the bird. I'm using Smoky Slate marker pen for the bird, and I really don't do anything fussy. Right, so he's ready for die cutting. Now I'm going to show you how I do the flowers and the leaves. Well, the leaves is a bit more difficult because they're so tiny, but I will explain as I go. So I just go over them once. Like that. Move on to the flowers. This is easier to show you on. And the principle is exactly the same with leaves. In fact, if you want to, you could do this to the bird as well. As you know, I'm not really much of a painter. I love colouring, but I wouldn't say that I'm an expert at it at all. Right, okay, so that's the first one done. Then what I do is I just go round again on the edges. Now, because there's only 4 petals on each flower here, I'm just going round the top and down round the bottom, and again round the side there and across there, and then a little bit across the top, and then I'm going to do the same here. You should be able to see it better on this big flower. In fact, what I'll do, I'll give you a close-up of that, the big flowers too. It doesn't look as if I've done that bit. And I would do exactly the same with the leaves, and I would just go round both on the outsides, but my brush is touching everything, so you won't see anything at all there. Right, first of all, let me show you this. Okay, so you can see some dark lines. You can see it a lot better on the bigger flower, but you can see it on here. Okay, I hope that's coming through okay. So that's all ready for die cutting now. So that's what I need to do. So I'll just bring my big shot up. Oops. That's my scoreboard I've just knocked flying. Right, okay. Now let's see if I can be organised with this. So first of all, we'll have the flowers. In fact, I need to change the size that I gave you for that. Don't need it as big as that. And we can only do one bird. We've only got one die. I'll do that one as well. Right, so the dies that go with the petal palette bundle are these. These are called Petals and More. So what I'm using is, I'm using the bird, the little bunch of flowers, and also the large flowers. I'll just turn this over, you can see what these dies cut out. Okay, so you've got some line images as well. That I've found very useful. I've used that several times. But as I say, it really is one of my favourite, in fact no, it is my favourite set out of the spring-summer catalogue. Right, so that's the small flowers. Oops, bird's moving. Let's see if I can lay the flowers down. Let's try the bird. I will need to just tilt this up so that I can see that I'm doing this correctly. Now for this one, I know that I need the Stitched Oval No. 3 die. Let's pop that over there. So the other three sets of dies I'm using are the Stitched Shapes, some ovals, some circles, layering circles. I will tell you which ones each time I use something, and also the layering ovals. So first of all, this one, what did I say it was? Good job I didn't scrap that. No. 3. Okay, so I always start counting from the smallest one. So No. 3 is the third one up. And then just pop that so it's straight. Oops, that's moved, isn't it? Okay, let me just tip this up a bit. That looks good. That looks good. That's straight. I think so. And the flowers are okay. Right, they're all good to go. Okay, so that's the flowers, that's good. One of the birds. Let's put the next one ready. Large flowers. I've got plenty of room left on that one. Oops. Oh. I have to pick that up straight away, otherwise I'll be looking for it later and I'll forget that I've dropped it down there. Right. So that's the sentiment. Right, so let's get the bird sorted first. Now with these other pieces, this one here is the stitched circle number 1. Okay, so that's the smallest one. Okay, that one. And then for this I need stitched oval number 4. So that's the largest one. And then I have stitched oval number 2. No, stitched circle number 2. And then I have, right, let's bring you down here a bit. I have layered oval scallop number 7. So that's layered oval scallop number 7. So that's got to be the biggest one. Okay, so that's that one. I'm not going to try and get any more on there. Bird looks as if it's still alright. That large scalloped oval was really quite close to the edge. Don't know whether that's going to have done it properly. Well, the bird should be alright. Yep, beautiful. Oh, it was stuck. Okay, so there's that one. That one. How easy these dies make life. There's that one. Now we have these pieces. So that's layering scallop circle number 4. Layering scallop number 4. That's that one. And this one is oval scalloped number 7. Didn't I just use that one? Yep, I did. So that's that one. And this is oval straight number 8. And this should be all the die cutting that's necessary. Writing on that one, so I'll turn it over to the back. There we go. Obviously you could choose yourself to do something a lot less involved than what I've chosen to do here. But although this is very involved, it's very easy to do. Right, so that's that. Let's pop this away. There we go. Move all those pieces up there. Right, so what do I need? Let me stand this up in front of me so that I know. So that's going to have that with that and that. That's out of shot, isn't it? Right, there's that one, and then there's going to be that with that, that and that, and that goes on that, goes on that. You see what I mean about matching up, making sure that the colours all go with each other. In fact, let me just bring a big sheet of paper here for doing all my gluing. I'm not totally happy that my silicone mat is making my paper stick. Obviously for this kind of gluing you can use fast fuse if you wanted. I hesitated then because I think that white oval, I think I'm popping it on with dimensionals. Oh dear, I've done that on the wrong side, haven't I? Ah. Bother. Oh well, I'm going to have to go for it. This should be black. I don't have a small piece, do I? Well, never mind, it should be black. So I'm going to pop this on with dimensionals, which are here. What I will probably do after the video is I'll probably hook this off and redo it. In fact, what I'm going to do is, did I do that with, yes I did. Oh, that's not too bad then. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on with just 2 dimensionals so that after the video I can take it all off and redo this. You'll see a photograph of the finished thing on my blog tomorrow. In fact, I'll just do 2 dimensionals on here as well. No point wasting them. I've got myself a little plastic box here so that I can just put all these backings from the dimensionals straight in. And little lumps of glue. Right, so there's that. Obviously I don't recommend just 2 dimensionals when you're adhering things on. Now this one's okay, as long as I remember to turn it over. There we go. And this is with the flowers, so that goes on with dimensionals. I'll come back to that one in a minute. Now these 3 all go together with the glue. There we go, so that comes with that, and these need dimensionals as well. Okay, So let's get dimensionals sorted. Now with one of the birds, I like him coming right up the top here, so I don't want a dimensional on the back, not too high on his head. Oops. So that's for the one that's going up at the top. This one can be the one that goes at the bottom. And I do like to put a little one on their tails, so what I do is I just cut one of these in half so that I can pop that there, pop that there. Now this one, I don't worry about doing the stem because this is like tucked in the card, so I don't think it's very likely to get pulled about. I'm forgetting my new idea about the box over there, aren't I? Right, that I didn't stick very well in the centre, did I? So which way do we want it? I think I'll do it so that I got the biggest gap up at the top. This is going to be behind one of the steps, so it won't be terribly obvious. Okay, so there's that one. And then we're going to do this. We'll start off with some big dimensionals. In fact, I think I did only use big ones on here. Let's just put my... This is the box I'm using. It's one from years ago before I joined Stamping Up, and I used to use peel-offs. Oh gosh, can you remember the days? Did you ever use steep peel-offs? Right, so this is going to go on here, any which way you'd like it to go. And I'd like it to be really very, very central. So there's that one. Now, that's ready, that is, the birds are ready. And I should have the other bits to go on here, which I seem to have lost, which isn't particularly clever. Right, let's move that out of the way. Did I put them under there? I'm not going to panic yet. Oh, here we go. There they are. So that was all those pieces that I need. Right, so next we're going to actually work on this piece here. First of all, you need your trimmer. In fact, you can do it all with your trimmer, but as you know, I do prefer to do my scoring with my scoring tool. So with this, what you need to do is line this edge here up on 2 3/4, and then you need to use, oh sorry, 3 3/4. No, 2 3/4, not 3 3/4, 2 3/4, which is 7 centimetres, and you need to cut from 1 inch down to 6 1/4, which is 2.5 centimetres by 15.8 centimetres. Okay, so that's 1 inch. Oops, gone too far. Will that make any difference? Not really, no, because we're going to be scoring near there. Okay, how far down did it come? Only came down an extra 8. Not recommended, but if you do, I don't think it'll make too much difference. We're about to find out. So next we're going to bring in the scoreboard and the scoring tool. Now, what you need is the 2 inches that is uncut, that end, and the 1 inch uncut that end. Okay, so what you're going to do here is to score it at 4 1/8, which in centimetres must be 10.25. Is that right? I think so, because yours was 21, so it's 10.5 you've got to do. Okay, just halfway down to your cut line, that's all you need to do, and then turn this 180 degrees around like that. I'll tell you what the score lines are first, and then I'll do it. The first one is at 1 inch, which is 2.5 centimetres, then 2 inches, which is 5 centimetres, then 3 3/8 inches, which is 8.5 centimetres, 4 1/2 inches, which I've forgotten to work out what it was, sorry about that, and 6 1/4, which is 15.9 centimetres. I don't think there's an easy way for me to work that one out, is there? 4 1/2. No, I'm not going to chance it. No, sorry about that. I will put the size down in the box below. Right, so we're going to score at 1 inch down to your cut line, and then 2 inches down to your cut line, and then what did I say after that? 3 3/8, which is there, and 4 1/2 inches, and 6 1/4 inches, which is there, and my cut line actually finishes just there. Okay, but we're going to be folding on that, so I don't think that will make too much difference. So that's the scoring all done. Oops. What I would recommend, if you're like me and where you've done your scoring, you've come just onto this piece here, which is left like little bobbles there. Can you see those? Well, you can certainly see that one there. There is, yes, you can see that as well. What I do to get rid of those is just turn it over, and with my bone folder, just lift it up like that, and then just rub over it. I can't remember where that one was. Well, it's gone anyway. So if you just rub it from the back, it will press it out. But you don't want to press out your score line there. Now, first of all, very gently with your score lines, you want to fold this one that's on its own. Okay, fold it downwards, but be careful because none of these others are done yet, and that is going to be quite stiff to do. Now with these, you want to fold backwards, forwards, backwards, forwards, backwards, or that needs to be a mountain fold. But again, be careful because that's not doing the same as this side. As you see, it gets a little bit of a pull there as you go there. Now this one you want to do down or as a valley, and then the next one is a mountain, and the next one is a valley, and then that one is a mountain. So you should finish up with 3 steps like that, and you should find that as you push that down, that all folds flat. That is what I would like, those of you that are using metric, that's the bit that I'd like you to try, test first with the measurements I've given you. Right, now just use your bone folder to get yourself some really nice creases here. Now this can be a bit tricky because I don't like pressing down like this when there's cardstock underneath, because you mark it. So it's a question of keep finding different ways that you can. I've done that one, haven't I? That one. Oh, this is the next one. So just finding different ways to get to your paper. So that's all the mountains. Now we want to do the valleys. There's that one. as you can see, not easy. Right, so that should be fine. And there we go, there's our card. Nice and easy. All the work really for this is in the preparation for doing all the bits there. So I'm going to adhere these ones on first. Let's just bring this over again in case. And again, you could use fast fuse or tear and tape for this. Now come on, stop messing about, otherwise I'll get a new one. Right, tweezers. Oh, here we go. And you might find it easiest just to flatten your card out while you're doing this. So this one goes across the bottom. This one is up here. Now you could either centre that like that and leave yourself a gap, or you can put it down like that, whichever you choose. It's hardly visible on here. This one I've butted it up. So this one I'm going to separate it so that I can see what the two look like. Okay. I'm not sure whether you win or you lose. There we go. Right. Go very easy with this because they really are very runny to start off with. Let's pop you back there. Something that I forgot to mention, if you choose a pattern that is a directional pattern rather, which is what this one is, you need to pay attention to that when you're cutting all your pieces to make sure you keep it all in the right direction. Life is just easier if you choose not to use directional patterns. Now I don't do these layers for the backs of the steps, and I don't do it for the back there, but you could do if you wanted. And as far as writing your greeting is concerned, if you're using a light enough cardstock like I am, you could use the backing, or if you're using fairly dark one like the one there, which was Dapper Denim, you could die cut a nice shape in Whisper White and then pop it on there so you can do your writing. Right, now this is the one that I'm going to be removing later on. So I'm just using 2 dimensionals. In fact, yeah, I should put my ribbon around here first. Now that's my black ribbon. I could use white. I'm going to use white. I'm not really happy about black at all. So let me get this one done first. And when I tried 18 inches, it wasn't long enough, so I'm going to do about 20 inches now. And I want that to go underneath. That's it. And I want my bow just here. Now I know that side's got to be the longer side. Yep, that's good. tie that in a knot there in the centre. Fold that down, fold that flat, bring this round, making sure it stays flat, and push through there, keeping it flat. Using this finger to take over, holding down on that knot, and then pull tight. And then just play with the ribbons until you get a bow that you're happy with. I don't want a particularly big bow because this is so close to where the card will be standing on the floor, on the work surface rather, on the unit, whatever. There's not going to be room for tails on the bow. And a big bow with small tails doesn't look nice, I don't think. There we go. Now just cut these off. There we go. That's good. Right, now this one is going to go on the back here, and I'm gluing it on the back. So what I do is I have a look where I want it positioned, and you have to bear in mind that you don't want it to come over the top here. You might find it handy to have one of your envelopes nearby so that you can actually test your card like that. You do have some lee room to have this going up. So once you've decided where you're going to put that, what I do is, mine is about that much off the bottom, which is that 3/8 of an inch, half an inch. Then I take a pencil and I just draw a line at the back there, and then I know that that is where I'm going to put my glue, because obviously I don't want glue coming up over the back. Okay, so that's that bit done, and I'm going to be watching this from the front. And I'm going to make sure my glue isn't coming up over there, so that's all right. And then just making sure that looks straight. Yep. There we go. And then the next one is this one. And again, I'm going to check out my circle on here. Take my pencil. And therefore I know where to put my glue. I'm going up as far as my pencil mark. So it'll be buried then, so I won't have to worry about erasing it. Okay, make sure that my glue isn't showing at the back there. How far can I come up? That's it. So this one, the gap I think is probably a bit higher than on the other one. But there we go, that's fine. See, that's going to look a lot better once I've changed that over to being black. Okay, so now just my two birds. This one's the one for down the bottom. I don't want to put him on, do I? Otherwise I'm not going to be able to get him off. Well, I'll just put him gently, very gently. There you go. And the one at the top as well. I don't mind having to redo the birds if necessary. This one I like to point upwards. The birds are exactly the same, and I do like to do something that makes them look a little bit different. Okay, so there we go. That's today's project. This is the one that I showed you at the beginning, and my trial one, because I always do a prototype, if you like. That's this one. The cardstock that I used there and here was from Naturally Eclectic, but as you can see, all the same as I've done here. But this is where I learnt that I wanted this up on dimensionals so that I could put my bow over here. You know, I didn't want a plain strip like that going over the bow. But apart from that, it's really nice. I'm happy. So there we go. I hope you liked today's project. Let me see if I can get all of these in camera. More or less. There we go. Many thanks for joining me today. If you have any questions or any comments, please leave them in the comments box below the video. I'm always happy to help you out, or I'm always happy to read your comments too. If you'd like to purchase any of the products that I featured here today, there'll be a link to my shop in the box below. And as I said previously, I will put all the measurements, including all the bits that you need for the embellishments. I'll put all those measurements in the box below. As you saw, it's a bit confusing. If you've enjoyed my video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking the subscribe button. I normally post a new video every Wednesday and every Sunday. And if you're always looking for new ideas, inspiration, please visit my blog, which is www.jambecards.com. I post a new card nearly every day. And as you know, we're still going through celebration. It finishes on the 31st of January, so we've only got 3 weeks left. If you'd like to take advantage of the special recruiting offer that we have, I'd love to have you join my team. So please email me at jambe@jambecards.com. And finally, something I've been thinking about doing for a long time now, and I am going to actually do it, and that is I am going to set up a Facebook group for my subscribers, my customers and my blog followers, so that we can share our projects. I'm very fortunate in as much as I have a lot of subscribers and people who follow my blog and people who follow me on Facebook, that they share with me the cards that they've made. And it is such a shame that it's only me that they're being shared with. So I thought if I set up a Facebook group, we could all join to it and all share. I hope you like the idea, and I hope you join. I will give you more details about it next time, because at the moment it's still in the pipeline. So hopefully next Wednesday, which will be about the 14th of March, I think, the video then I'll give you all the details. Many thanks for joining me today. Until next time, happy crafting. Cheerio.